everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
And coming up today, we're going to talk about
It's
Islam in America.
It's
9/11 and the Star Spangled Banner. And
We're recording today on the
flag.
the 15th anniversary of a bad day.
yeah,
It was not a nice day. that
15
day.
years.
Yeah.
Dan,
It's been a while.
it's been a little while.
I still remember where I was
Really?
on that fateful day.
I think everybody does, Dan. It's like
It's a thing
I
to
always
do.
heard people talking about how they'll always remember where they were when they heard that Elvis died.
Or Kennedy was shot. Or
Yeah, I always heard it in terms of Elvis.
Really?
Yeah, mainly because my mom was a huge Elvis fan. So I'll always remember where I was when I heard that Elvis died.
You know, up until yeah. It's Bowie now. Now it's Bowie.
Loved Elvis.
Well, there you go. But that's later in the show.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Don't worry. We'll spring it on you at some point later. For now, let's talk about this. I got a story from about a woman who's she had her 11-year-old autistic son go into the Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Oh, nice.
He had a big brother.
That's nice.
That was helping to mentor the kid and you know, having some fun with him and baptizing him.
Oh no.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
He basically he took him to get baptized without talking to mom or
authorization.
whatever. And here's the thing:
Oh.
an autistic kid isn't going to necessarily really figure out what's going on with that. I'm not sure I knew what baptism was all about when I was baptized, and I was raised with it. So he takes the kid to get baptized, and apparently they held him under the water, like enough that he was kicking and screaming.
What?
Beforehand, because he was afraid. He didn't know what was going on.
Really did not know what was going on.
They held him under the water, and for weeks after that, he was having traumatic dreams, nightmares about being drowned.
PTSD.
Yeah. So Mama's filing some child endangerment and assault charges.
God damn it.
Because she's filed a police report. She wants those charges to be brought against them.
Aside from being a sort of faithless woman who hadn't had her child baptized, what do we know about this woman?
I don't know anything.
Does she have objection? Was she specifically not raising this child?
I don't know that. All I know is that
religious?
I mean,
and so this is like a real affront or beyond the child endangerment crap, which is real and legit. And I just said it in a way that made it sound like I don't buy it.
All that crap. All that child
too dismissively.
I mean, is there something we should care about, or is it just this child endangerment?
No, like how bad is this?
Yeah,
And also, like, what do we know about this? How old was this big brother?
I don't know. I don't have any of that stuff. I just know
Not a lot of details, Dan.
Well,
I
was telling the story, and then you decided that you were just going to interject, charge in
with questions,
with all sorts of stuff,
with a desire for detail.
I gave you the details that I have. I gave you everything I got.
Wow. Well,
it's not enough.
Forced baptism.
Yeah, not good.
Swimming games, right? That's what the Mormons would do.
That's right.
Mormon missionaries were famous for the swimming games.
Kids into baptism.
Yeah.
Here, let's play Marco Polo, but first let's play God underwater. Here, let me just hold my hand up for a second. Okay. Let's say pray and then swim. And then
so here's the game. I'm gonna say the following. I so-and-so, by the power invested in me with the holy Melchizedek priesthood, which I hold, I dunk you. I can't remember how it goes.
No, it's a prayer. It's Heavenly Father, I don't remember either.
Here
Wow,
are the words of my mouth as I push this child under the water.
It's
And if one stray hair or a toe doesn't go with him or her,
we'll do it again.
we have to do it again, and we have to repeat it. And oh my God, these clothes are sticking to my skin.
In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Splash. Yeah. I can't remember how it goes either. That's great. I'm very excited.
Really good.
To have gotten so far away from
really,
it that
really,
I don't
really
remember
good.
how the baptismal prayer goes or whatever.
I'm happy about that. Dan.
Hooray! What do you got?
I, John the Baptist, do solemnly swear to dunk you ruthlessly.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty
to stay under the water.
to baptize your family.
All right. Well, I've got the story of a Social Security agency or administration. That's what it is. Social Security Administration worker by the name of David Hall, who has refused to watch a diversity training video that all members of the Social Security Administration have been required to watch.
Okay.
That teaches, some sensitivity and inclusion tactics or whatever about the LGBT community.
Oh.
And this video is icky. It's icky, people. And he says he'd rather be fired than forced to watch a workplace diversity video about lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender individuals. He says that this is a violation of his religious beliefs.
To have to tolerate people.
And that after 14 years, he should not be forced to watch a 17-minute video.
Oh, that poor guy. I feel so bad. He might... worst case scenario. It is only a video, so you could argue it's just 17 minutes. You can just you can just choose to ignore it.
Yeah.
But the worst case scenario is he could walk out the door and maybe be nice to a gay person later.
Yeah.
Some of that could sink in.
I know.
And then what do you do?
I know. Doug Wynn, he's the communications director for the Chicago region of the Social Security Administration, says that, quote, this mandatory training video reminds our employees of their responsibility as representatives of the agency to provide the highest levels of service to our customers. Yeah, of course, right?
Right. To all of the people that they have to serve.
Yeah.
Not just the ones that they like.
Right. Because that's what you did. You went and got a job.
Right.
Where you're dealing with the public.
Right.
For the government.
Right. Which is meant to serve all of the people.
Everyone. This is Hall. He says, I'm not judging the LGBT community, but I believe tolerance is a two-way street. So my bigotry, come on, folks.
This what he's
my
mad about.
religious-based bigotry needs to be tolerated.
No, tolerance meaning because he is so oppressed by you gay
As
people.
a Christian.
Yeah.
I know.
So
That
once
his oppression, this 17-minute oppression,
right,
it's horrifying.
It's a two-way street, people. I would love if a black person started refusing to serve white people. Using his same logic. Seems like that would be fair, right?
Yeah, but this is a religious exemption that he's looking for, not anything
tolerance.
else.
I don't think I would tolerate him very well.
No.
So maybe it is a two-way street.
Maybe gay people should, if they walk into the Social Security Administration, and see him at a window, should be like, nope.
Yeah,
Not him.
Sorry, I don't tolerate him very well. I saw him at the gay club the other day, and he was not nice.
That's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Often the case. Not always.
I'm going to take us north of the border, up into the Great White North. Canada, eh?
Oh.
There is a United Church of Canada.
Is there?
Yeah. It's not government sponsored or whatever, but it's the United Church of Canada is a religion up there, a sect of
Is this like the United Church of Christ, but Instead, it's Canada.
Uniteder and Canadianer. Not very united right now, actually.
Oh, no.
Here's the thing. We're talking... The United Church of Canada is a very liberal Christian church. Like, long since they've had women and gay people in their clergy. So
it's not really a church.
Well, it's not proper. It's not proper Christianity. We can tell this. They have, they've supported marriage equality, all of that sort of stuff. So they're a very liberal church. Someone's testing how liberal they really can be, though.
Oh, no.
One of their pastors, a woman named Greta Vosper, she's a reverend for the United Church of Canada, and wants to keep her job, loves her job, has a big
really
ministry, has a big congregation. Just the only real problem, and there's only this one problem. Everything else is good. She doesn't believe in God.
Oh, no.
No, she doesn't at all. She doesn't accept the requirement that she believe in the Holy Trinity. And she doesn't, So she believes in things like, she says she believes in feed the hungry, satisfy the thirsty, shelter the homeless, clothe the naked,
fantastic,
care for the sick, visit those in prison. She's taking all the good stuff, and she's just discarding that pesky supernatural element to the whole thing.
It is a fucking pain in the ass, isn't it? That having to believe in Jesus thing.
Ugh. It's
when all you really want is just to be a minister of Christ.
Yeah. When all you want is to be a Christian minister, but you have to do this whole Christ thing. What a pain in the ass. So here's the funny thing. So there's been this committee that has convened the leadership within the UCC to figure out what the hell to do about her. They've been trying to figure this out for more than a year.
Unfortunately, they couldn't find a single person who believed in God,
right? Yeah, exactly.
to be on the committee.
But they're all Canadians, so they wanted to be nice about it. They just didn't want to tell anyone. They didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings about Jesus. And she uses the Bible, of course, as she likes the teachings in it.
It's beautiful teachings.
Well,
in the Bible.
and
just amazing.
Every
things.
Christian pastor picks and chooses from the Bible, so she just picks and chooses slightly more.
Yeah, the less gaudy parts.
Right. Anyway, so they finally the Toronto Conference Review Committee that was tasked with figuring out what the fuck to do with this lady. Finally came back with a 39-page memorandum. Recommending here's what they say. We have concluded that if Greta Vosper were before us today seeking to be ordained, the Toronto Conference Interview Committee would not recommend her. In our opinion, she is not suitable to continue in ordained ministry because she does not believe in God, Jesus Christ, or the Holy Spirit.
Can you believe in just one of them?
Yes,
you can believe in God.
I'll go with the Holy Spirit. I'll just believe in that.
You just want the Holy... No. Jesus and God, I have a problem with those, but the Holy Ghost, yeah.
I've never read anything about the Holy Spirit where he, killed everyone on the planet or, told people to murder their child or anything. So the Holy Spirit's still cool with me. It's just those other guys that are kind of shitty.
Yeah. So angry at the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
What did the Holy Ghost ever do?
I love the part of the recommendation of this recommendation by the review committee that says, although the United Church of Canada is a big tent welcoming a diversity of theological beliefs, Ms. Vosper is so far from the center of what holds us together as a united church that we have concluded that she is not suitable to continue.
I'm sorry. I'm calling bullshit. I do not accept this, United Church of Canada. You people are known for your inclusiveness, right? And you won't let an atheist be a minister?
Well,
I bet you have plenty of atheists amongst your congregation.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Probably.
Guaranteed, you've got atheists in those pews coming to your church every week, and you can't give them one minister.
Well, here's what's amazing. There were 4 dissenting members of the committee.
Yeah. How many were on the committee? Sorry, Dan. I've got questions today.
You're the called in out. 23 committee members,
Okay.
4 of whom dissented. Mind you, the committee did not suggest any remedial action. They just called for a formal hearing. So,
that's all that's happened?
so it's still going to go on. She is still the minister of her flock. It's just
if all they've done at this point is said we need a hearing, that's actually probably the right move.
yeah.
Because now they can let another group of people make the hard decision to figure out.
They've passed the buck. the theological buck has been passed. It's
amazing.
so funny. Like a Eucharist. They've passed like the Mormon sacrament. The buck has been passed.
Yes, indeed. Dan.
Yes.
I was not going to touch this story with a 10-foot pole. Colin Kaepernick.
I think you mean a 10-yard pole, don't you?
Meh.
That's a football joke, you guys.
You're so clever, Dan.
I made a football joke because sports.
What else do you know about sports, Dan?
I watched a football game just last night.
How much more do you know about sports, Dan?
Does fencing count? Because I don't know anything about that either.
Yeah, neither of us are.
We're not particularly sporty fellows.
No. In any of the ways, at least I can speak for myself on that one.
I joined a curling league a couple years ago.
Such an athlete, Dan.
I'm a damned athlete.
So Colin Kaepernick. The reason that I wasn't going to touch it is because it wasn't really related to our show.
Not to religion, yeah.
This is the guy. But then it did become related.
Why don't you give them the background on what the story is here?
Okay, so he's like a quarterback for the 49ers. And he decided that he wasn't going to stand for the national anthem anymore.
Right, we're all supposed to stand up.
Yeah, you have to stand up. It's recommended that you put your hand over your heart.
Right, and there was some
not required.
None of this is required.
None of this is required, but if you are going to but yes it is though, Dan, right? And that's
socially required.
Socially required. That's
not
what this
legally
all hinges
required.
upon, right? So the national anthem plays, you had better stand up. Right?
Right.
And then the rest of this is not going to get you into too much trouble.
It's
right?
also
if you don't do it.
It's
you
also a social requirement,
and you're supposed to sing along.
It's
if
also,
you don't do those, but at least you stand,
you're okay
with respect. You're going to be fine. He takes a knee.
Right. Well, he sat the first time.
Well,
now
okay.
he started to take. Now others have started in with taking the knee and all that sort of stuff.
Whatever.
Right.
He's not doing what he's supposed to do.
You're
trying to say something.
The other thing that you're sort of socially required to do is if you're singing the national anthem solo, regardless of who you are and where you're from, you have to add as many sort of gospel sounding trills to your song as you possibly can squeeze into it.
And crotch grabs are not suggested.
Yes, those are frowned upon.
A la Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, she
did a crotch grab at the end, right?
And she also sang it in the worst way she could.
She sang it as Roseanne Barr would sing the national anthem. Nobody should have been surprised. Anyway,
nobody should have ever asked her to sing anything at all, ever. Anyway,
so this caused, of course, hubbub and horrible fury because, it's okay to have opinions about, race in America, but you better goddamn stand for the national anthem.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what he's doing it as a very simple, nice protest.
Right.
About race,
about how
and how minorities are treated in this country.
Right.
And so he's not really in the mood to stand up for our national anthem. And
because he feels like he would be honoring a country that treats him and people like him as a second-class citizen.
Right.
Which he's correct about.
Yes.
He is right.
So good job so far in raising attention
for
your issue. But of course, the right is going to muddle that issue as much as they can.
Right.
They're going to draw all the attention away from the valid points that you're making.
Right. And the reason that he's actually doing it.
Exactly. And they're going to try to convert it into something else. Well, now the big nasty rumor, this is the worst thing you can say about any American.
Yeah.
He's converted to Islam. He hates this country so much that he would convert to Islam.
Or the other way around. Or he's so committed to Islam that, of course, he hates America.
Yeah.
I believe that it's in the Quran. It's like one of the first... it's like buried sort of... it's like halfway into the Quran.
There's a little known sixth tenet.
Right.
Of Islam.
Right. The pillars of Islam. You got to do the Hajj, and you can't...
You give alms, and you have to pray 5 times a day.
Don't eat pigs and hate America.
Yeah.
Those are the tenets of Islam.
That's it, right?
So obviously he must have done that.
He clearly must have. Well, no, he didn't. He did not. He did not in any way convert to Islam.
You know, Frank,
but
this is just
handled
he
it
said,
like a pro.
This is just a he said, she said. I mean, who are you going to believe about his beliefs? Him or Rush Limbaugh? Obviously, I'm going with Limbaugh.
When it comes to, well, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if it was actually Limbaugh that said that. I'm just picking one.
It sounds true.
It's the same thing. If it wasn't Limbaugh,
if he didn't, I'd be surprised.
Right.
So I think it's fairly safe to say. But this guy's got things figured out because his response to the whole thing was actually really, really well crafted. He did the whole, I know Muslims and I respect them, and they're good. I have good friends and acquaintances who are Muslim, and they're good people, and
that's not what this is.
But I didn't convert to Islam,
right? He didn't jump on I would never convert to Islam. That's the worst thing.
Icky.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
I don't have cooties.
At long last, sir, have you no shame?
So Colin Kaepernick, I know 2 things about the man, and 3. I know that he's a quarterback. He so far though. The things that I know about him, my thumbs up, dude.
He seems to be a very smart cookie.
Yeah. I have so far. I need to find out more about him so I can speak more intelligently about the whole thing.
It's refreshing considering that the last little bit when I've heard about when the discussions of intelligence of athletes comes up. You get the Ryan Lochte thing.
Yeah.
And that he's not smart. He's a good swimmy, but
isn't there something about quarterbacks? Quarterbacks are usually
they probably have to
pretty bright guys because they kind of
they have to call the shots
I know that about football.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good job.
There are other positions that probably don't need to be so smart.
Right.
But
the guys on the line who are
but that quarterback,
they may well be smart, but they don't have to be.
They don't. It's not a requirement of the job.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway,
main requirement of that job is
just like Ryan Lochte.
Boop,
and he swims.
Just go. Okay, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna swim that way as fast as you can, and then do that little flippy thing
that we talked about last week,
and then swim back this way as fast as you can, and then.
Yeah.
Another little flippy thing.
Yeah.
And just do that a bunch of times until we tell you to stop.
Yeah. If golden retrievers could swim fast, that's all you need.
Yes.
That's. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Where's the ball? Come on, Ryan. Where's the ball? Oh, look, it's over there. Go get the ball.
Boop. World record.
Oh, Lochte. So this story, I'm very baffled by this, and it makes me laugh, and I'm confused. And there's a system of hospitals, an incorporation of hospitals in the Midwest, Illinois and Indiana.
Okay.
That that are now going to be dropping the names of saints from their hospital names.
Like St. Mark's Hospital is just going to be Mark's Hospital?
Right. St. James, St. Anthony, St. Elizabeth. There are all of these different names for these hospitals. Now, they're all going to be... So, like, for instance, Franciscan St. James Health in Chicago will become Franciscan Health Chicago Heights. The hospital system is called Franciscan Alliance. They're actually changing their name to Franciscan Health.
Okay.
Now,
still sounds a little religious to me.
Yeah. Those of you who know anything about the word Franciscan would know that would be a reference to St. Francis of Assisi.
Yes.
There are orders of monks and the sisters of St. Francis.
Yeah.
So this is a group that was founded by the Mission of the Sisters of St. Francis of Perpetual Adoration.
Jesus Christ.
They invented this hospital system. It's staying a Catholic hospital system.
What?
But
they weren't bought out, and that's why there's a...
Right. It's funny.
Did they kill a lot of people and they need like a corporate rebranding? Like, what's going on here?
No, they're just trying to... they just want to strengthen their brand identity.
Wow. Oh.
How corporate is that?
Wow.
The Catholic Church has gone full corporate on this one. They're strengthening their brand identity. It was diluting the brand.
All these saints. Well, because what you heard was St. James or St. Mark or St.
Hey, what hospital are you going to? I'm going to St. Anne Hospital.
They weren't going to Franciscan Hospital.
Right. No one was saying the full name, Franciscan St. James Health, Chicago Heights.
Right.
They were saying St. James.
Right.
I'm going to St. James.
They want you to go to Franciscan.
Go to Franciscan. Oh, I live by a Franciscan too. Do you live by a Franciscan?
Oh, I do live by a So the Franciscan in our neighborhood is so much better than the Franciscan over there.
There are some people who
are
going
to a supermarket.
Yeah, exactly.
You got your Smiths or your Kroger or your whatever.
There used to be like
your Safeway.
Yeah, or the Big Boy chain of restaurants used to have different Big Boy. There was Bob's Big Boy and there was other Big Boy restaurants.
Oh, interesting.
Now
they're just Big Boys.
Are there still Big Boys? I don't remember the thing that exists anymore.
Well, there's Harmon KFC.
That's just here.
I know.
Yeah. Did you guys know, by the way, that Salt Lake City is where the first Kentucky Fried Chicken was?
You can go to it still. They tore it down and rebuilt it, the assholes.
Yeah.
But
it's the only KFC that I know of where you can go and there's a buffet.
There's a museum, too.
Yes.
You can go through the little museum of KFC.
But I'm just saying, you can go and you can order the buffet, and it's all of their menu items just there for you to just spoon as much as you want onto your plate.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, you can just all the mashed potatoes, the gravy,
I didn't
corn,
know this.
Just everything you want. If you can just as much chicken as you can shove down your chicken hole.
I did not know this, Dan.
Yeah.
This is very strange.
It's all very... Anyway, yeah. So, Franciscans and hospitals.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah. Right. Is that it? No, you got one.
I got one more.
You got one.
I got one more. What is Barack Obama doing, Dan? He just nominated a new federal judge.
Okay.
Who is Muslim. Again, with the Muslims.
Thereby proving that he himself is still a Muslim.
Clearly.
Obviously.
Abid Qureshi.
Oh, he's even got one of those names.
Yeah, I know. One of the really scary names.
Yeah.
One of the, just awful. He would fill a seat on the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia.
Oh.
And while the president might be pleased to nominate Mr. Qureshi,
in his words,
no one, including I'm sure the president or Mr. Qureshi, thinks he's actually going to be a federal judge anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not even... although it'd be interesting, but if they're not doing a Supreme Court justice...
They've officially blocked all judicial nominations.
Yeah.
So Obama's doing his part.
Right.
And almost in a way to highlight how douchey the Senate's being. They think that that there is a possibility that he could get through during the lame duck session. So after the election, before the new Congress, there might be a moment to slip him through.
Okay. Can they do that with Merrick too?
I've heard people. I think it's less likely with Merrick,
right?
But Merrick Garland,
yes,
yeah. But I don't. This guy probably, except for the fact that he's Muslim,
right?
Like he's just as fraught with problems,
right?
For the douchies in the Senate, but they might also, if enough of them. Well,
he can't be the first Muslim to be appointed to the federal bench. Is he?
President Barack Obama made history on Tuesday by nominating the first Muslim person to the federal judiciary.
Jesus Christ. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the U.S. is just packed full of Muslims. It's a small minority.
There are more Muslims than there are Jews, though.
I know, and we've had plenty of Jewish judges.
Yeah.
So that's a thing.
We got plenty on the Supreme Court itself.
Right. Jews and Catholics. That's all we got so far. That's all we got right now.
No, isn't there? There's one other, right? There's one person who's not Jewish or Catholic?
I don't
or
think so.
All
I think they're all Jewish and Catholic. I wonder what Merrick Garland's religion is. I don't know.
Catholic.
I'm glad that I don't know. It's probably Catholic.
Yeah.
He probably is.
Yeah. They make good judges.
The Catholics, yes, exactly.
The Catholics are judgy,
They're
right?
very judgy.
So clearly they would make good judges.
Basically, yeah, you've got the representation of the two most guilt-ridden of all of the...
They just need a Mormon up there now.
Yeah, exactly. It would round out that guilt so well. Well,
that's it.
If you guys have anything you need to tell us about judging, or lest you be judged, go ahead and write into us. It's podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and look for the TGIA Members Only Lounge on Facebook. I'm going back to talking about it. I kind of stopped talking about it for a minute just because things were getting a little hairy for a minute in there.
A little dust up.
It was just the people were being problematic. Just know that if you do sign up to get on there,
there were a couple people who were being problematic.
Right.
Yes.
But it's a place. It's a community first.
Yeah.
And it's a place for us to support each other.
Yeah.
And so no vitriol against each other is allowed. Disagreement is totally okay.
Yeah.
But being a dick to anybody in there is absolutely not okay.
Right.
So you will get kicked out or warned or whatever.
Well, there are now new moderators in place.
We've got
new and more
a healthy group of moderators watching everything, because it was just me for a while. Me and also Mackenzie was helping out sometimes.
And it just grew too big.
It was just too big
for a couple people to handle.
Yep.
So now it's all under control and working great.
And our mods are good people, and they want the best for all of you. So I want to
that's wonderful.
Too. Yeah,
awesome. Good news, Dan.
Yes, indeed. So thanks to them, and go and be a part of that group.
Alrighty, guys. We've got some audio to play for you.
This is in loving memory
of Phyllis Schlafly.
Phyllis Hately. Phyllis Hateful Schlafly. There's the podcast, the Bugle podcast, which was out of the UK with John Oliver.
Yeah,
which was a brilliant podcast. They came up with the term "fuck eulogy" for when someone hateful dies and nobody and you just want to say hateful things about them. And I If anyone deserves a fuck eulogy, it's this hateful woman.
Phyllis, you point out in your book that fewer and fewer people are getting married today. Why is this?
Well, there are a lot of reasons for that. One of them is women, if they get married, they'd like to marry a guy with a job. And the guys with jobs are just not so many around anymore. My book, Who Killed the American Family, has got all kinds of reasons. The feminists are only one cause, and the gays have had a lot more publicity, but that's only one more. But there are a lot of other things, and one is that, as you pointed out, when women decide to get married, they would like to have a guy with a job, and free trade has taken away the middle-class jobs. All these guys that used to make $50,000 making automobiles in Detroit, those jobs have all gone to China.
Yeah.
And this is the free trade people who've done the work of the feminists by getting rid of those jobs. And that's very unfortunate. And then, they talk about the pay gap and so forth. A new word has come into our American vocabulary. It's hypergamy. And that means women like to marry a man who makes more than she does. So then she can take time off and work fewer hours when she has something she'd rather do, like to have a kid and look after her children. And so the pay gap really is something that women like.
Boy, women love that pay gap, don't they?
Oh, it just turns them on.
They're just like, if only I could make even less than the men do. Because right now I'm making like 70 cents to every man's dollar. I really would like to get maybe with some hard work and dedication, we can get that down to 50 cents, 40 cents.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that Phyllis Schlafly is under the impression that every woman is just like her and wants the same things that she wants, and that has the privilege that she has, and that like come on. Not everybody's going to marry a wealthy man.
I'm going to argue with you on this point.
Oh?
Because I think if every woman were actually like her, she would have hated it. Because this is a woman who, all the time while she was railing against the feminists who were ruining this country and putting a stop to the ERA, which it could largely be said, she had a huge effect on stopping the Equal Rights Amendment in this country. And, the whole time she's like, women should be in the home with their husband, their husband making the money and they're raising the kids and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, she was out getting a fucking law degree, and she was never at home. She was constantly touring. She was writing books. She wrote like 20 books. She was touring around the country, speaking all over the place. She was moving and shaking.
Yeah.
She didn't want women to be like her. She wanted women to be like what she wanted them to think she was. So there you go. She sure didn't like you gay folk.
No, she was a bitch.
She was a bitch. She was terrible.
Phyllis Schlafly is one of the hardest names for me to say.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Phyllis Schlafly.
It's got one vowel and a sometimes Y.
Yeah.
In amongst like 46 consonants.
Schlafly.
So she died this week at the age of 4,622.
Horrible woman.
And she will be missed by somebody.
Gail Ruzicka.
Maybe.
If she has a feeling bone in her body.
Right, yeah. All right. Yeah, there you go. Look her up. She was Betty Friedan, the feminist, once debated her and called her an Aunt Tom. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's brilliant. That's really funny.
Yeah. All right. Let's read some emails. Hey, Frank and Dan. This is from Jared. Growing up in Utah, as a high school student, I never could quite grasp how LDS seminary for my high school friends wasn't a clear violation of the separation of church and state. Oh, he grew up non-Mormon in Utah.
Oh, good.
That's the worst.
Sorry, dude.
By living here for the past 20 years now, I think I've just acquiesced to the idea. Listening to your number 250 podcast today, you talked about your memories of seminary, and it made me sad. I'm sad that my child won't have an opportunity for those same fond memories in a satanic temple seminary when he's in high school. What can we do to get a plot of land bought on a high school's campus to offer this curriculum? I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it.
You
You
wouldn't need a very large piece of land
No.
to cause the amount of hay that would cause.
Yeah. Somebody get Lucian Greaves in touch with us.
I wonder if there's a plot of land right next to, I don't know, like Lone Peak High School.
There's one right near. There's a plot of land right near West High School that's pretty abandoned.
But that wouldn't. I mean, it would cause a little bit of a
Bountiful
stir.
High. That's
but
the
it
one
needs to be
we need.
next to like a really Mormon area.
Yeah,
like Bountiful.
yeah.
Like I was gonna say Provo, but Provo High is like really diverse.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
Yeah, we need to get Orem or Bountiful.
Bountiful, Lone Peak.
Somewhere where it's literally all atheists, or all Mormons, and then get the one atheist kid to be like, "Yay, Satan!"
It would cause a stir.
It would indeed.
That would be fun.
That would be fun. Bill writes to us. He says, your discussion of biblical-based child abuse made me smile because for 52 of my 53 years, including 50 as an active Mormon, 50
no.
years. Congratulations on getting out, Bill.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you. I took the statement as a command. We should spare the rod and spoil the child.
Oh,
so for 50 years, he thought that you were supposed to do that. That was the command. Last year, it suddenly hit me that the rest of the world takes that as an if-then statement. If we spare the rod, then we spoil the child. I'm not sure why it took me so long to make that connection. Oh, I love it. I love it. Because the truth is, yes, we absolutely should spare the rod.
Yeah.
You shouldn't beat your children.
No.
That's the wrong thing to do.
No.
I don't care what the Bible says.
Yeah, the whole idea of don't spoil your children. I mean, I get it. There's, you don't want to give them everything they want, right? But you should give them, like, everything they need.
Right, including a safe childhood.
Yeah.
Free from your abuse.
Yeah.
That's something you should give them.
Yeah.
Spoil them with not being beaten up is a good way to spoil your child. That's a positive spoiling.
Just spoiled. That child's spoiled.
Kid got spoiled.
Look at him.
Because we all know now, looking back on the beaten people, we all know how well they all turn out.
Oh, yeah.
The non-spoiled ones, the ones who got the rod, they always turn out happy and well-adjusted. That works
absolutely
super good.
Yep.
Hi, Frank and Dan. This is Jeff writing in. As an ex-Mormon who... We got a lot of ex-Mormons writing in today. As an ex-Mormon who left after 38 years in the church and who did, quote, all the stuff that involved, and also someone who compulsively studies religions, I have a couple of comments regarding head coverings in Mormonism.
Yeah?
You'll recall, Frank, that you did a story about a Christian lady covering her head. Yeah, and being required to take her head covering off for an ID photo.
I don't remember that.
Don't you? Yes, you do. I too had, he says, I too had to always remove my hat for prayers, not just when in church, but any prayer, any time, at meals, when going on a trip, before going to softball games, etc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. His second point is, in the endowment ceremony in the Mormon temple, when performing the, quote, true order of prayer,
yes,
women not only have to cover their heads, they must veil their faces.
Yeah.
And yet, men don't take off their caps. Go figure. They're chef's hats.
Yeah.
They're little
baker's hats.
Baker's hats. They look... Oh, my God, you guys, you have to Google Mormon temple clothes.
Yeah.
It's not the undergarments. It's not the
No,
garments.
this is different.
This is their temple
This is
clothes.
just wacky cuckoo. Like, where the fuck did they come from?
It looks so stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, men and women also sit separately on opposite sides of the room.
Yeah, it's really important.
He says, Islam, anyone?
Yeah.
And the concept of women covering their heads is common to all three of the Abrahamic religious traditions, originating in the Middle East. Some sects of Hasidic Jewish women today wear wigs in public so as to not show their own hair. That's true. The wimples worn by nuns come from this same concept. Conversely, monks shaving the tops of their heads, leaving a little fringe, for example, Francis of Assisi, comes from the idea that men should not only not have their heads covered with a hat, but also not with hair. He suggests that the Holy Ghost can't get past that many follicles.
There's a lot of them.
It's too much.
It's a lot of hair.
Yeah. He says, of course, no one agrees exactly on what to cover or when to cover it. But yeah, there you go.
So silly.
Put
silly.
on or take off your hat as is appropriate.
And make God happy.
And make Jesus proud. You got to think about it this way. God's kind of like a satellite. He's way, way, way up there.
Yeah,
all he can see is the top of your head.
Yeah.
And so if you bow your head, all he can see is sort of the top back of your head.
Yeah.
So it's really important
You have everything sorted out.
to show him the correct version of the top back of your head while he's looking at you. Because otherwise, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Otherwise, something. There's nothing in the Bible about your genitals, though. So go ahead and cover or uncover those as you see fit.
There's nothing
About covering your
about being properly
your pee-pee or
being
your hoo-hoo.
being covered.
And the Lord saith unto them, when thou dost pray, cover thy hoo-hoo, but show thy pee-pee, for thou art shameful to the Lord.
I'm so glad I didn't grow up in that religion. Although, who knows? All right. I'd like to thank a couple people on Patreon.
Oh, yes, we have some
Signed up
donors.
as new patrons. Thank you so much, guys. We have Rob and Matthew who've signed up. We've kind of revamped the Patreon campaign.
Yeah. There are perks. To being a donor now.
One of the really cool perks is at the $3 level. You get access to the Frank and Dan Diaries.
Yes.
Which is a weekly diary entry.
One or the other, or
of us.
maybe both. You never know.
Probably will usually be solo, but yeah, we could do one together. Sure, why not?
You'll hear us in our natural habitat.
Yeah.
Discussing whatever the fuck we want to.
Could be about the show, could be about what's on our mind. It might be a cooking tip or two.
Who knows?
So yeah, check that out. We've got we've set a goal of $300 an episode total donations.
If we can get to that level, good things really start to happen. So
yeah, we're going to start doing a video version of the show at that level, and this is all about bringing you guys more content. And
this is good, you guys.
If you are a patron at any level, you you get access to a commercial-free episode of the show. So yeah, so you can become a patron by going to thankgodimatheist.com and clicking the support tab, and there's instructions.
Yeah.
So
it would be very, very helpful. And then we can thank you on the air.
Yeah.
Hooray! So, it's 9/11, 9/11, everybody.
Yeah. I think we finally have settled in that it's 9/11.
I certainly hope so, because
it's been long enough, and people calling it 9/11 was just...
It was dumb.
It was infuriating to me.
And our international listeners may not understand the significance of that. 911 in America is what you dial for an emergency emergency services on any phone.
Yeah.
So
it'd be like a horrible attack happening on you on your country on January 12th if you're in Italy.
Oh,
because I think that's the emergency number there.
112.
112.
Yeah,
I think it is. I can't remember.
The poor UK can't have an attack on 999.
Well, could be
they need to switch from the Gregorian calendar back to the whatever. And add
it's 999 in the UK. Oh, interesting.
I think so. Anyway, on September 11th, 15 years ago, I think you'll all know that a few planes bumped into some buildings.
That's a nice way of putting it down.
Yeah. No. There was an attack. It was coordinated. They took down the World Trade Center in New York. They hit the Pentagon.
And they had another target in mind, but that plane
but they ended
was
up
taken
just
down.
ruining a field in Pennsylvania. So.
Well, you're really like
No,
not quite in the
I'm not
right headspace for this, Dan.
No, the truth is that a horrible thing happened.
Yeah.
And then more horrible things happened after that. And those horrible things that happened after that were the reactions to this thing.
Yeah, the George Bush presidency
Right.
happened after that.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad reaction.
He found his footing, right?
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah.
And ooh, doggy.
So yeah, I mean, yes, the Iraq War happened after that. The
War in Afghanistan, which is still going on.
Yeah, exactly. A whole bunch of things that feel pretty shitty.
Yeah.
But also things like in Salt Lake City, of all places, someone threw a rock through a small business window because it was owned by Muslims. And Muslim hatred did spread widely across the land, and lo, they did get very, very angry.
And it's
all
had
of the
15
Muslims.
years to simmer and solidify and turn into the Donald Trump presidency.
The Donald Trump
campaign for the
supporters.
presidency. Yeah.
It's that's not the only group.
No, it's
you
not.
can also hate blacks and be a Donald Trump supporter.
It's not the direction I thought you were going to go with that. That's not the only group who hates Muslims.
No, it's not.
Because there's a strong strain running through the atheist community.
So yeah, that's what we wanted to talk about, is this interesting thing. So one of the things that happens when you are an atheist,
Yeah.
is that you don't feel the need to enter into the gentleman's agreement between religions that we all respect each other.
Right.
There's no reason to respect a religion that doesn't earn your respect.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so we atheists take that stance, and we say, if you are respectable, we will respect you.
And we usually have either a phase or a permanent state of hating on the church that you grew up in,
Especially
if you grew up
that
in
church.
one.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I
know?
think
And so,
a lot of anger comes along with leaving your church and suddenly realizing that you feel like you've been duped for your entire life.
And there's some justification to that feeling.
Absolutely.
You
And mad because, maybe you're gay and you've been made to feel like a horrible piece of shit your entire life for something that was not your fault. Or maybe you're straight and you were made to feel shitty for fucking masturbating or whatever. Like they just...
Or for wearing a skirt that showed your knees.
Or for any number of things that they make sure you feel horrible about. Because they get their control from making you feel like shit.
Right.
So, yes, there's shit to be mad about when you finally realize, oh, this is bullshit.
Yeah, and I think that that anger and that sense of feeling like you can be angry at all religion, right? This is what I'm starting to feel about myself, and so I'm only going to speak for myself here.
That's probably wise.
I feel as though my general anger, which, I think you and Dan, or Dan,
me and me,
you and you and I, we couch all of this in under the guise of light humor. We don't really get really crazy angry.
No,
right? That's not our thing.
Well, and we don't want to live our lives in anger.
Right.
That's just a rough way to live a life.
But I think that the negative feelings about religion in general has made me feel very comfortable in exploring a place of I've allowed my discomfort with Islam to kind of be a thing at times, right?
Yeah.
And it's allowed me to say things about all of Islam, right? But the fact of the matter is, no single any group, right, that you could ever identify in this world of people, right, can you make a complete generalization of?
No.
And I feel like at times I have been completely fine with being dismissive of moderate Islam and moderate Muslims,
Right.
And kind of lump them all in under one big umbrella.
Well, I
feel like I've felt way okay with that because it's been this whole, well, yeah, but the Quran is a shitty book,
right,
and it says this, and this. But I'm perfectly fine with my Christian neighbors and their shitty book.
Yeah, and their shitty book, let's face it, says I think I have not read the Quran, and I've only read chunks of the Bible.
Right.
But from what I understand, those who have read both, the Quran is the bloodier of the books. It is the worser of them.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of like advocating violence, advocating shitty things, whatever.
However, we can see the fruits of that,
right,
in a group such as ISIS.
Right.
Right.
However, it's not like the things that it advocates are worse than the things that are advocated in the Bible.
Right. It's just the devil you know. I grew up with Christians all around me, grew up Christian.
Yeah.
Right. And so I know these guys aren't so bad.
Some of them are terrible.
Some of them are awful.
And so like
terrible, terrible human beings.
Yeah, the KKK is a Christian organization.
Right.
And they're a bunch of awful human beings.
Shitty.
Yeah, and you know, you get these guys, the Bundys who took over the fucking
Cliven Bundy?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah. Well, and his sons who took over the thing up in Oregon.
First I thought you were talking about Ted Bundy, and I'm like, yeah, he was an asshole.
He was a bad guy too. And also for a time a Mormon.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Cliven Bundy clan, they're terrible and they're Mormons. So like, you know, it's like there are bad people in all the hell. There are bad people in the TGIA members only lounge.
Dan!
Okay, not bad people. There are people that I would just that I would distance myself from because any group of people you're going to disagree with.
Yeah.
Anything over 2,000, that's like 1,500 seems to be the cutoff where everybody can agree, and then after that it's just all hell breaks loose.
Right.
So if you've got over 1 billion people in your group,
guess what? 50 to 100,000 nut jobs in the desert.
Total nutters.
Bad. I would say the Wahhabist strand of Islam that runs and rules Saudi Arabia, not so great. Right.
People committing atrocities in France, in Germany, and
in the name of Islam. Horrifying.
In London, whatever.
And there's the common refrain of, where are the moderates? Why don't they denounce this? Fucking just look for it.
They're everywhere.
They're all over the place. They hate it.
They come out so fast when any of these things happen, and they're probably like sick of it.
Yeah.
But also like American media, and I won't speak for media in general around the world because I don't know much about it, and I don't know that much about American media, but American media doesn't look for these people because that's not what sells.
No.
What gets your clicks, what gets your the eyeballs tuning in to your TV station is Muslims are terrible and they're ruining the world. They're ruining the killed.
Yeah.
Or, Fox News will have one Muslim come on so that they can scream at them.
Yeah.
They'll invite some moderate
2
Muslim
minutes
on
of hate.
so that they can hate at them as hard as they can and then cut to commercial.
Yeah.
But here's the question. You get guys like Bill Maher or Sam Harris who are very critical of Islam. And as not just the radicals, but also on the whole.
It's I know.
And they get accused in no uncertain terms of being wildly bigoted against Islam.
And the question is, are they?
Against Muslims.
I think as atheists, we very much let them off. I know I have historically let them off the hook.
Well,
I really am just like, who cares? It's fucking
here's
Islam.
An interesting question. Earlier, you and I were talking about this.
Yeah.
And you said, of course, they're right, meaning the points that they make to justify their position are largely correct.
Well, like, I remember in whichever of Sam Harris's books where he does the full, couple chapters long takedown of Islam.
Right. That's in
is that End of Faith?
End of Faith, yeah.
He he's pulling out bits of the Quran and beliefs generally held by Islam that are horrifying, right? That should be denounced, right?
Yeah.
Just like if there was a radical group of Christianity that was threatening world stability, there should be a critical takedown of the parts of the Bible that they were basing their whole thing on.
Now, mind you, some of the things that they base their points on are things like massive polling among Muslims, among general population Muslims, that point to things like a majority of Muslims believing that it might be okay to kill someone for apostasy.
Yeah.
I don't have that in front of me.
Okay.
Wait, I'm pulling it up now. But, according to a poll in 2013 by the Pew Research Center, a majority of Muslims believe that suicide bombing is rarely or never justified. But in certain countries, they believe it is healthy minorities believe it is often or sometimes justified. For example, 39% in Afghanistan.
Right.
26% in Bangladesh, 29% in Egypt, 40% in Palestinian territory.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like this is just only like 0.001% of Muslims that think it might be justifiable.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's that. Those can be scary statistics.
Those are alarming statistics. I would love to know does it have the United States breakdown?
Not here. The article that I just sort of managed to pull up was the first thing I found, and it was
because I would be really curious about the what the Muslims in the United States and Canada versus the UK versus wherever, France, how these numbers really break down, because here's the deal, right? Like Islam in, I don't know, Egypt, right? Or in Syria or in Bangladesh, those places, it's going to play out differently because of the different situations in those countries, right? Of course. And so a Muslim who has come to this country, to the United States, or has gone to Canada, they should not be judged, in my mind, by the actions and the opinions of groups of people in other countries.
Right.
But the Bangladeshi Muslims, right?
Yes.
Have very little to do
with Muslims in the United States. Absolutely true.
They happen to belong to the same, global faith. Yeah. But this is what I'm talking about, is this painting all Muslims with the same broad strokes. And I think it's really, really, really easy to do. And it's a really easy trap to fall into, because I feel like I have fallen into that trap. And I'm trying to now sort through how do I really want to approach this? Because I haven't known a ton of Muslims in my life, but I've known a few.
Yeah.
And the ones I've known
are
not scary.
No.
You know?
Here's the thing. The other scary thing about Islam is that at this moment in history, at this time period, the people who are the most willing to commit an atrocity against random people in our country or in Europe or whatever, the people who are scariest because they're willing to just blow up somebody that they don't know, that's not a combatant, that's not they don't know if they're a Christian, they don't know if they're anti-Muslim, are Muslim people.
Right.
They're almost universally Muslim people. Not quite. I mean, you got your Timothy McVeighs out there.
Right.
But almost universally Muslim people at this moment in history.
Right.
And that makes them scarier. Yeah. It's not that all Muslims do it. It's just that it's just the people who commit those attacks are Muslim.
Right.
And that's a problem. That's scary. But you're right. I mean, it's what you can't do is go laying that at the feet of Islam in general.
Right.
You just can't. And you can't go to a mosque and point at any random person and say radical.
Right.
You just can't.
Right.
There are good people there.
Right.
Just like there are good people in every religion.
Right.
Even the religions that try to be bad, there's probably one good egg.
The ones that try to be bad?
Yeah, all those religions that try to be bad. probably a good person in there.
Just a bunch of bad people.
Yeah.
Getting together, trying to be bad. Yeah, I know. I know it's tough, Dan, because I don't want to fall totally on the side of, we just all need to get. I don't want to enter into that gentleman's agreement,
right,
that you talked about. I don't want to be there, and I don't think that that's what I'm talking about. I don't think that I want to just let the whole of Islam off the hook if there is a hook that the whole thing should be put on.
Right.
But I feel so strongly that what we see bubbling up in, like Germany or in other parts of Europe, where, I mean, Angela Merkel's party just dropped to the third position, right, or something like that. Like, they lost a lot of seats in a recent election,
right?
And we're seeing a rise of anti-Islamic sentiment in Germany.
Yeah,
it's like there was a poll. It's something like 40% of Germans don't want the Muslim refugees. They want them to go away. Let me
tell you something.
Leave.
Listeners in Germany, you should just be aware. When you guys start to hate on a religious group, it makes the rest of us a little nervous. It's not cool. Like, when rednecks in the U.S. do it, it's not cool. It's not cool at all.
Right.
But it doesn't make us all go, uh-oh. You guys need to cool that shit down, Germans. We are not comfortable with that. You guys have to be. Yeah. Let the rest of us. Let France hate the Muslims.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This is one of the things that really got me thinking. This week's on the media. They had somebody on who was saying, if you want to really hear the Islamophobia, right, and these anti-Islamic statements, and really hear them for what they are, just substitute in Jew.
Yeah.
Right. Or Jewish. Just substitute in black.
Yep.
Right. And take a listen to it now.
Say the same sentence.
And if that's not bigotry, right?
Right.
What is, right? Because, like, you've got to accept that there is a level of bigotry involved in all of the talk against Islam.
Yeah,
most of the talk against Islam. I don't want to.
I think the key is to
you gotta listen to it.
If you're going to make these arguments, if you're going to try to be honest about this situation, you have to acknowledge the bad, but you have to acknowledge the full reality of the situation.
Right.
And the fullest reality is that Islam and Christianity are basically largely the same thing.
Yeah.
They are almost exactly the same thing. There are cultural differences between those who practice Islam and those who practice.
And there are specific things. The praying 5 times a day.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy, am I so glad that I dodged that one.
Right. Yeah.
That I didn't grow up in a family that had to pray 5 times a day.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I would have.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done. But anyway, but yeah, you just have to be honest about it. And it's okay to not like Islam in the same way that you don't like the Catholic Church.
Or the Jewish religion.
Or the Jewish religion. It is okay as long as you don't like them in the same way, that it's coming from the same place.
Well,
right?
Yeah, I mean, and there are differences, and you can dislike one more than the other because of the differences.
Sure. But one might be a little more benign in some ways,
but they
all have problems.
But you have to acknowledge the whole reality. You can't focus in, like, that's the one thing that we, as free thinkers, as people who consider ourselves skeptics, we have to be extremely careful to have the whole reality be coloring how we think.
Right.
So anyway,
don't Islam.
Not that you
it's
can,
fine.
Not that you can have the whole reality. You can't. But you just got to educate yourself as much as possible.
But it's the whole thing. Remember that there are human beings, just like you, involved in that whole thing.
There are smarter people than all of us in all of these religions.
Yeah, absolutely.
People and kinder people and better people than all of us in any of these religions. That's not the majority of people.
Yeah.
But they're there.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, if you...
happy 9/11.
There you go.
Are we there? Are we at that point
yet?
Yeah. It's happy.
I don't think you say happy.
Are there sales yet? Are there 9/11 sales?
There is I saw a video online of like a mattress sale for some local mattress company, and they were like, the Twin Towers of Savings. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And they were like, it's the Twin Towers where every mattress is sold at the price of a twin. Not good.
Oh, no.
Not good.
No. That's horrid.
A queen mattress? The price of a twin. King mattress? The price of a twin. Twin Towers.
Don't have 4 sides on your mattresses. Have 5 sides. It's the Pentagon mattress.
Oh, my God.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, eh? What? All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, if you need to tell us why we're so wrong about Islam,
completely wrong,
please do. You can write into us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com
or call and leave a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yes, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while you're on Facebook, why not look around for the TGIA Members Only Lounge? It's all fixed up.
It's
they got out the
shiny
feather duster.
Read the rules when you get let in, which should be soon rather than months and months.
Yeah.
And then
really, we're on top of that now?
Yeah, we're doing all the things.
What?
Yeah.
Crazy town.
We're working it.
All right. Well, thanks so much to Mackenzie for all of her help on Facebook.
Yes, and thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their fine music.
And thanks to you, dear listener, for tuning in.
Yeah, we sure do appreciate it.
Bye.